The BBC is just one of many major content producers here in Cannes trying to sell their programmes to new markets. One show they have had no problem in selling aims to do what may have previously been thought to be impossible and tell the story of the Jews. With a title as bold as The Story of the Jews, the BBC had to be sure the programme would live up to the name. Needing someone with an intimate passion for the subject, they turned to British historian Simon Schama, whose own Jewish background would provide a starting point to help inform and shape the series.
Yes, the story of the Jews has been a long-time passion of Simon Schama to tell this story. It was in production for about 2 years, so it's only just recently finished its broadcast on BBC Two in the UK. But I think it was in development for a good year before that. It tells both historical and contemporary stories, and ultimately it's about the impact of the Jewish people on the key moments in history.
Born in London in 1945, Simon Schama today teaches history at Columbia University in New York. He has described his professional trajectory as slowly moving ever closer to home, starting with works on the French Revolution, then British and US history, before finally arriving to this, the Jewish story.
You know, Simon is fantastic at bringing these stories to life, at really engaging with people, and making, you know, what is quite a complex history very accessible to the audience. Simon, obviously, he takes his viewpoint as part of it. He used his own personal history to bring his family history to bring that story to life, and uses, so there's a very personal style to the series.
On release, the series was met with almost blanket approval, with publications labelling the 5-hour series as a TV landmark and a rousing success. Even before finishing its first run on British television, the series had already been sold to other territories.
Fantastic reviews all around. You know, again, I think it's exactly what people expect from the BBC. You know, fantastic authority from Simon. You know, tackling a big story done in 5 hours. So, you know, we've tried to make this as definitive as possible. Obviously, it is a huge history to tell, and you could go on for many hours. But I think Simon has really done it justice. So, no, it's gone down incredibly well on BBC Two. But it's filmed all over the world. We go to New York, Berlin, obviously Jerusalem. Beautifully shot. It's a co-production with the PBS network through 13 station in New York, so it'll go on PBS in 2014. So they're a key co-production partner on it. We've sold it to SBS in Australia. Our own channel, Knowledge, is taking it for Italy. It's also been sold into Germany, Sweden, Finland, and Denmark. And it's very early days for us. You know, there's lots more. You know, as I said, it's literally just finished filming airing in the UK. So we'll be selling the series for many years to come, I'm sure.
Although this is a programme by no means intended only for Jewish audiences, the BBC's remit does state that its programming must represent every sector that makes up British society, including, of course, the 250,000 Jews in Britain today.
It's part of the BBC's public service mission to make sure it's serving every single ethnic group and reflecting every different part of society, both culturally, religion, sexuality. It's there to make sure that every part of its audience in the UK is served.
The BBC here were the first to admit that this is just a personal account and one version of events, in a story which of course does not end here, will continue to be developed and retold. This is Paul Walsh for JN1 in Cannes.